Chanel may be suing the RealReal, but it feels more like they're coming after you and me. Chanel is suing the RealReal, and I found out about this when I was watching Doc Luxury's channel. He was talking about it, and of course it sparked conversation, and a lot of us were chatting about it, and Me Likey Too asked me to do a video on my perspective, so here it is. Back in March, Chanel sued a company called What Goes Around Comes Around, and I don't really have any experience with that company. I do have experience with the RealReal. And what Chanel is saying about the RealReal, they're saying several things. One is they're saying that the RealReal is implying in some way by using their logo that Chanel is somehow endorsing the RealReal, or that they're somehow doing business together. I've certainly never seen any evidence of that. As somebody who uses the RealReal, I've never even come close to having that feeling. The other thing Chanel is saying is that Fashionphile is claiming that their bags and their items are 100% authentic. That is true. The RealReal does say that. And what they say is if you ever get a bag or anything that isn't authentic, it will be 100% guaranteed. So the RealReal does do that. Another thing that Chanel is saying in this lawsuit is that the RealReal cannot possibly authenticate Chanel bags, that it is absolutely impossible, that the only place a Chanel bag could even possibly be authenticated would be Chanel. And they're saying that they have discovered that 7 of the bags that the RealReal have sold are fakes. And the reason that they say that they know is that they are looking at the serial numbers and that they've got a proprietary database with all the serial numbers in it. So when they look at a serial number, they know what bag was created with that serial number, and the bags don't match up. I'm not exactly sure how Chanel knows the whole serial number, because one of the things the RealReal does is they don't show the whole serial number. And the reason they don't show it is because they don't want other people using that serial number to replicate bags. So what is the remedy that Chanel is seeking from the court? The first thing Chanel would like, ideally, is for the RealReal not to be able to sell any bag, any item with Chanel's logo on it. Because Chanel is saying that they own the logo. The problem with that is it's on the bag. One of the things that the RealReal is saying is that what Chanel's really trying to do is stop all resale items. Just stop anybody being able to resell bags. And that's where it starts affecting you and me. And that is what this lawsuit looks like, especially since they've now gone after 2 companies. I'm not a lawyer, but it's ridiculous to me to say that you can't resell anything with a logo on it. People do it all the time, all the time. We resell all our clothes or even donate them. That would shut out any kind of secondary market anywhere if you couldn't sell something that already had a logo on it. So then what Chanel's saying is if they can't at least do that, they want them to have a card. The RealReal should have to have a card on it saying that Chanel didn't authenticate this bag. And, because the consumer could be confused and think that Chanel did. I can tell you from firsthand experience, I'm not confused about that. I know it's the RealReal who authenticated the bag and not Chanel, and I don't see a reason to have a card for that. I also know the Pope didn't bless it, and I'm not expecting a card that's telling me that. Nobody's expecting it. Chanel is also saying that the 7 bags that they have discovered that are fake, that the RealReal should contact those people, recall the bags, and give them their money back. I do agree with that. If Chanel knows that that's happened and they have communicated that to the RealReal, I do agree with that. I do understand Chanel's perspective. Chanel's perspective here is that they're getting copied a lot, and it's frustrating for them. They're getting copied a whole lot. That I do understand. Trying to stop the whole resale market, I don't understand. Now, this happens to Hermes and to Louis Vuitton a lot too. It just seems that Chanel is more paranoid than either of these companies, or really than any other company, because they don't sell online and they really try to stamp out people reselling their products. You can't just order something online at Chanel, and you can't even call a store and order it unless you're already in their database. So a lot of people think that you have to go into a Chanel store to buy. That is true the first time. I'm able to call a Chanel store and buy because I am on record with them, and I have been to their store and I've purchased before. So since I guess I've been Chanel authenticated, then they will sell to me over the phone. But that is how it has to happen. You can't just order online. Here are some other facts. Chanel will not authenticate their bags. So they're saying only Chanel can authenticate a bag, but they're really not willing to authenticate a bag. You can't go into Chanel and say, can I get this authenticated for free or at a price? They simply don't do it. And the fact of the matter is that some of these super fakes are so good that Chanel themselves have been duped. There have been people who have gone to Chanel, bought an authentic bag, and then returned a copy. And then Chanel has taken the return and turned around and sold the bag. So there's evidence of that as well. These super fakes are a problem, and they're Chanel's problem first and foremost. Chanel is not immune to its effect. They have been confused themselves. My personal experience with the RealReal, I have mostly bought new bags, and I've sold a lot of bags with the RealReal. I do have a couple of bags that I have purchased from the RealReal, but for the most part, I sell to the RealReal. And I can tell you that the RealReal is not, they don't want fakes. They're not trying to have fakes. They tell you when you're sending them a bag, I mean, they threaten you with everything. If we find out this bag is fake, if you send us a fake bag, you'll never see it again. We're going to tear it up. I mean, they're not looking for fakes in any way. They absolutely want to sell real bags, and they're trying to do the right thing. And I know just from sending them bags that is the case. So what do I think about all this? Here's my perspective. I understand Chanel's frustrated. I myself am a designer. I'm a jewelry designer. And no, I'm not on any level that Chanel is on, but I do understand how much work it takes to design something from scratch, to bring it to market, and to market it. I mean, even with my company, marketing is one of my most expensive things. All of this costs a lot of money, and it is very, very frustrating, I'm sure, to see people copying your work. It's not okay. And I'm just going to say that is my perspective. It is not okay to make a fake bag. It's not okay to carry a fake bag. It's not okay to have a fake bag. And I know that there are people here on YouTube that do that, and they even show their replicas. I will never watch those videos. I have no interest in them. It's not something that I think is okay. From the very beginning, I've always in my life said I'd rather have an original, like even with art or anything, I would rather have an original made by a high school student than I would a fake. There are beautiful, beautiful, well-made bags in every price range. You don't have to have one that says Chanel or Louis Vuitton to have a great bag or to be in style at all. Not at all. And honesty in everything in your life, but honesty in design, honesty of purpose. Honesty is important, and without honesty, I just don't think you have good fashion. I would much rather carry an honest, beautifully made cloth bag from a local artist than I would a fake anything. So some people are worried about the RealReal now. They're worried about the RealReal, and did I buy something fake? And I can tell you that it does make me a little nervous about the RealReal. The RealReal is trying to do the right thing, and I know that is important. And they're trying to provide a service that is important to be able to sell bags and items to be able to sell luxury bags and items is an important thing. What this lawsuit really does is leave a bad taste in my mouth about Chanel. It makes me question whether I want to be involved with Chanel in any way, because while Chanel may think they're going after the RealReal, they're going after me in doing this. I'm not going to go buy a bag, especially for the prices they're asking now. I mean, a lot of the bags that I bought years ago when they were less expensive than they are now. Still expensive, but not this expensive. I'm not going to go do that if I know that the company I'm buying a bag from is specifically trying to make sure that I can't resell it, that there's no way that I can resell it. And this notion that nobody should be able to sell an item with the logo on it, they might be thinking, well, it's an expensive item. Well, I wouldn't go buy a new Lexus if I knew I couldn't resell it either. I mean, it hurts the whole market. We resell expensive things with logos all the time. Chanel is no different. Now, I do want to make sure that it's authentic when I buy it and that people know it's authentic when I sell it. But if I am going to spend money on a bag that I then have to know that I have to hold forever and there is no resale value on it whatsoever, I'm not walking into a Chanel store. Whether Chanel likes it or not, there is a resale market, and this resale market has helped them. And they cannot argue otherwise. The resale market has helped them a lot. People like me who buy bags, if I know that I can sell them, I'm more likely to buy a bag knowing that I can sell it. Not only that, the resale market has done a lot to boost their sales. People sometimes get hooked at first by buying resale products and then maybe go in and buy a bag. But the other thing too is the YouTube community. The YouTube community has done so much to promote Chanel. Louis Vuitton's growth, Chanel's growth, even Hermès's growth have a lot been driven by the YouTube market. This has been an incredible amount of free advertising. Not only free advertising, people pay for it. We pay to go buy a bag and then we could just use it, but we come here on YouTube and tell the world about it. I don't even know what it would cost Chanel if they had to pay for all the marketing that they have received. As a jewelry designer, I can tell you right now that if everybody on YouTube wants to go to my site and buy my jewelry and talk about it on YouTube, and then 3 years later resell the jewelry and buy more jewelry to talk about on YouTube, I am down with that. I'm not suing anybody over that. You just please. Fact is, reselling bags is not a crime. It's not even something to be remotely ashamed of. It should be the natural process of the whole thing. There should be an aftermarket for bags. And if Chanel was really trying to stop the crime, where they should be going is the people who manufacture the bags and the people who are knowingly selling fake bags. Those people are out there. Now, I don't have any personal experience with what goes around comes around, but my notion is that they were the same. That Chanel is actually going after what I consider to be the good guys. And some people say, oh, well, now I'm not going to go to the RealReal and I'm just going to trust Fashionphile. Fashionphile is not immune. Nobody's immune. Anybody can make a mistake and anybody could be sued by Chanel. It looks like they have a plan to at least attempt to stop the whole resale market. From my perspective, Chanel should be embracing the resellers that are trying to do the right thing. They're saying that these bags aren't authenticated by Chanel and that the RealReal couldn't possibly be able to authenticate a bag. I don't think that's exactly true, but I do think that there could be something in a partnership there where Chanel does maybe have accredited resellers, or they accept the resellers or train them or something, some way to say that this person is kind of an accepted reseller, and then and to know that they meet Chanel's standards for resale. That's something that they could do. The other thing Chanel could do is resell bags. I mean, they don't authenticate and they don't resell, so they could offer a way to do it as well. But I think if Chanel were to embrace this idea, embrace us in our desire to do it, and embrace the companies who are trying to do the right thing, I think that would be a much better move than putting a bad taste in all of our mouths about Chanel and wondering if Chanel is really trying to come after me. It doesn't feel good at all, just as a customer and as a consumer. So those are my thoughts. I would be curious to know, what are your thoughts on the whole Chanel RealReal struggle and really just the fake bag industry altogether. I've seen more people talking about fake bags on YouTube, and that troubles me because I just don't think that we should be promoting that. I think there's a lot of really good creative things to promote. So why would we promote criminals? I don't, stealing and criminals. I just don't. That may be the designer in me speaking, but I just don't like that at all. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And while you're there, please subscribe. I would love to see you again. Bye for now.